What's up, world? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? What's up to our internet, global, social media society? I'm your host, Lee Zellers, in The Basement Show. There's a sign that's back over there. Basement Show. I used to sit here. I made a few changes, as you can see. If you tuned in to a couple shows back, you might look and say, wasn't the sign right there? Well, it's no longer there. It's back there. How everybody's doing? Hope you're doing good. I am here with a very special guest. Welcome to the show, Philip Baker. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, my brother.
Good to have you.
What's up, Facebook world?
See, we got Philip Baker in the house. So, are you like from Cincinnati, born and raised here?
I'm born and raised in Cincinnati. I grew up in the Glendale area, north of the city.
Glendale?
Yeah, Glendale. Yes, I grew up in Glendale. I went to high school, Princeton High School.
Okay.
I was here pretty much until I graduated. I went to college in a little town in the upper part of Ohio, and that didn't really work for me. And so I went into service, man. I spent, a number of years in the Army. So I traveled around a little bit,
So when you was during that Army time, that was like early Iraq, George first Bush Iraq. You was in there during that time?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got out right at the beginning of the first conflict. So I was done, in 1990.
So did you actually go over? I mean, over there?
I did some reconnaissance over there before it became a full-blown conflict and stuff. So, yeah. So I mean, did the Army thing, traveled around a little bit.
Right.
Slept on the ground, did the hiking.
Did you see those spiders? Because one time they were showing these things on Facebook. These huge, they look like crabs, like lobsters or something. They were some kind of spider. They called them camel spiders or something. You ever seen any of those?
I have seen.
Jeez.
But I mean, mainly I dealt with like the brown recluse. Mm-hmm. They were pretty big, but they were real deadly. I've seen a couple black widows here and there. That kind of stuff.
I'm just gonna say, those camel spiders, when I saw those and saw how big they were, I would have been running right to whoever I need to run to. Get me back on the plane, get me back to the natty, now. Because them things was huge, man.
I do not like bugs, man.
Yeah, I'm not a spider especially, man. So how much time did you spend in the service now?
I spent, total on active, I spent 8 years active, and I did 6 years of reserve time. So, it was kind of like...
Right. So it's like you're out of it, and as if you can still see we still got
same old game
stuff going on still over there.
Yeah, but you see things differently on this, on this side. The stuff that y'all hear on this side,
right.
Is a whole lot different than what you hear and what you experience inside. So,
right.
That was one of the biggest shockers for me. When I got out, hearing what was in the media versus what I experienced while I was there. I was like, they hearing a bunch of stuff that ain't really true.
Right.
They fabricate, they build it up, that kind of stuff. But I lived a life, and ain't nothing to brag about, nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean war. I mean this.
Yeah, man, it's horrible.
But it's war. Sometimes some say it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to happen.
North Korea could be on the list. Watch out, look, Kim. We might be coming after you next. So I'm always curious. So obviously you're a musician. What's your instrument? Do you have a particular instrument that you play? Or?
Right now, I concentrate on the piano. Early on, I was a percussionist. I dibble and dabble a little bit here, but I played every type of percussion instrument you can imagine.
Wow.
I played the cello for a little bit, but I spent the majority of my time with the piano. Yeah.
Real musician. And how is that? When you as a musician today who plays instruments, and when you look at where we at with all the technology and stuff, and it's kind of sometimes some of the things I think about as a filmmaker because of all the advanced technology, where you find people today, they can get into the field of music, they can get into the field of film without necessarily putting in the kind of work that they used to in the past. It's because the technology is away. I mean, they doing beats and stuff with cell phones, and it's so how do you see that? Do you see that as, is it a benefit for young people today, or is it some kind of detriment in some ways because they're not really taking the time to learn how to play an instrument getting on here and hitting a beat?
Well, it's good and bad. when I say it's good, it's because it's current. You know, it's what was motivating. But like you said, you know, when you want to really consider yourself to be a musician, you got to put in the time and the work.
Right.
You know, and actually learn. I think it's coming back around. You know, back in the day, you know, you had the full orchestra and the band and whatever.
Right.
Like, you know, the Blue Notes and all those guys, they used real band, you know.
Right.
And then they kind of went through the Motown era, the latter Motown era, and got into more electronic stuff. Everything was synthesizer. But I think it's coming back around. You see it like with neo soul. You know, they use a nice full rhythm unit, you know, on the projects now. So I think it's coming back around. I think it's going to be important to have a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, but you know, to really consider yourself a musician, you
need to be able to play an instrument.
Right. You gotta get.
If you don't know how to play, I mean, if you're a singer, you sing. But I don't know. I just think if you're a musician, you should know how to play piano, something that's not this. Everybody can, like, you know, I probably can do that. So, how did you first get into music? What was it that brought you into the direction? Because I'm always curious about when I meet artists, from actors, comedians, spoken word people. What was it that said to you that this is what I want to do, and not only is it something I want to do, I'm good at it?
Well, you know, early on, like I'm come from a family of 10, and my mom and my dad, they had us singing and doing things. You know, my mom taught us to sing. By the time I was 4 or so, I knew how to sing. You know, so we had a little singing group. Man, we was going out, we making little records. We had little 45s we made. You know, we sound like the Chipmunks. And yeah, stuff like that. So I got in it that way. But actually playing instruments, I started banging on pots and pans with a wooden spoon in my mom's kitchen. You know, sitting on the floor and just banging. You know. And then I graduated up from the pots and pans to just beating on like a wood table like this.
Right.
You know, and me and my brothers, we would, you know, well, let's make this beat, let's do this, you know, this rhythm or whatever. So rhythm's always been, you know, been in me, man. So I started out that way. I got into jazz, like, you know, big band jazz. You know, by the time I was 13, I was playing in the jazz quintet. I was playing drums in that, and just kind of moved through that through school, and had a teacher who was teaching me, you know, rhythm and stuff. But as I went through, you know, I kind of lost interest for that, you know, mainly because my mother had this rule, you know, you had to practice. So you had to sit down for an hour. So by the time you get home from school, man, you get home from school, do your homework, sit down and practice, you know, your instrument, do your chores. I mean, you know, sun go down at 6 o'clock. You know, we had to be in for dinner at 6. So there was no time to be a kid, man. No time to play, man. And so I, you know, early on, you almost
fell into that Michael Jackson dilemma. You
Exactly.
know? It's like Joe Jackson wasn't playing. Like, no, you're not going outside to play today. You're getting there and sing, all of y'all. But he had the whip, and he was like cracking the whip.
She didn't do it that way, but it was like we knew we had to do it. You know, if you're gonna play, this is what you had to do. Because she was sending us out for lessons and stuff, piano lessons, and it just didn't go well for me, man.
But you know, I mean to cut you off, but you know, you think about it. I know now you kind of look at it and probably was glad that she did that. The same way I heard, Michael used to say that he was like his way. Joe used to, you know, beat the crap out of him. He was like, I'm glad he did because it put him where he's at. So it's kind of like that hard work at the time and the lack of, you know, being a kid and playing. We don't see it then. We just see it as if like, I go out here and trying to have fun with my friend. I gotta come in here and do this, you know, but later.
Well, now it's something, man, it's my passion, man. I you know, you couldn't get me to sit down and react and practice and stuff like that when I was a kid, but, you know, as I got older, man, I started feeling, you know, a little jealousy because all my brothers and sisters, well, at least 7 of them, you know, they were playing instruments. They were playing for churches and, you know, making money. And I was like, man, I'm a little jealous. You know, I want to get into that too, and make a little money and stuff. So it was driven by what I could get, not necessarily what I could learn and stuff. So
what what form of music do you like mostly? Is it jazz? Is it R&B? What's your genre?
Well, I kind of got hooked into the jazz, and mainly just because of improvisation, man. You know, and really this is crazy. This is what I used to think. I used to think, if I mess up, nobody knows because,
I used to always wonder that about jazz.
It's improvisation.
Right.
It's my music. Nobody knows.
Right, right.
It ain't like I'm stumbling over words.
Right.
So that was always my thing.
Right.
It really was weird how I got into that, but then it allowed me to express, what I was thinking,
Right.
what I was feeling without having to use words.
Right.
I've never been really much of a talker, but so that kind of really got me there, and then just the fact that I could, I got a genre here that I can learn, but I could tweak it and mix. Like I mixed rock licks on top of jazz. I had some symphonic stuff, and I have a menagerie of stuff. And then I create it, and it's like, well, I don't hear nothing out there like that. So it allowed me to be able to create a niche for what I do.
Okay.
Now I do what they consider people call smooth jazz or whatever, But my audience they know it mainly as riding music. So usually when I do it, people get in the car, they put it in, they leave it in the car, that kind of thing. And that's the kind of response I hear. And then a lot of people, they talk about how it soothes them and causes them to relax after a really busy day and stressful day. So,
because this is the CD. Can I stick it over in front of that one? Get a look at that. Yeah, y'all see that? Yeah, and you talking about smooth, and it's a smooth shot. You gotta have you're a jazz guy. You gotta have a smooth look. That whole vibe there is it tells you right there that I pop this in, I can tilt the hat back while I'm cruising down 75.
But it's so funny because my wife and my kids, they like, ain't nothing smooth about me, man. I'm like a nerd, but the shot, made it look like that, that hey, it matches the music. And so my friend, I have to give him props for that. His name was Bill Parrish, William Parrish. He did my photo. And that was his concept altogether, It was like the hat, he came in and, some tricks of the trade in my house and took the photo, had the hat tilted down. He's like, yeah, do that right there. And that's how it came to be, man.
So this is these are two different ones? Is this,
yeah.
Which is the most current one?
The one you have right here is called Overcomer. That's the most current. That was released May of 2014.
See, and this is how you want to look, people. When you put out a CD, I know sometimes you got to do this little quick thing you got on the corner, and you got it in a little sleeve, and you just wrote the name of your song on it, and your name and all that kind of stuff, and then you're trying to get it off for $5. But when it's packaged up, this is professional.
Yeah, trial and error.
This is the real deal.
Trial and error, man.
Now you said you said, well, your family said, he ain't all that cool. He's like, I'm kind of a nerd. But I know that you are multi-talented because we had did some work before in a movie, OTR. And you did what was the character? I was trying to think about that the other day. Fats. You played Fats. You know what? Here's the thing. That opening that we had was like off the chain.
Yeah.
We hold the title. We hold the title for that. To this day, I haven't seen a screen. I just want to brush the shoulders off for a second. We haven't seen a screening in Cincinnati to this day like that. And there's been some Hollywood films, and I ain't saying no names, that have come here. And I've had people go see those and you know what? Y'all OTR thing, man.
It was live. It was live. The red carpet and everything, That was a way to do it, and that was a great opportunity for me. I thank you for that.
I thank you because you did a great job playing Fats.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Have you ever thought about doing any more of that?
I'd want to. I was about to see what you have going on. I'm conceptualizing a project, man. I write it all in my head before I ever get to the piano. Like when I'm writing a song, it's usually weird time, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and so I have to, go ahead and do something with it right then because I'll forget it by the time I wake up,
Right.
So I, get some little ideas or whatever. And like I said, I'm singing into my head, man. I'm putting all the instruments where they need to go before I ever get to my piano, man, to work anything, man. That's pretty much how I write.
Okay.
I see stuff, that I get inspired by. I hear it, or I hear something, I was like, oh man, that was a nice little riff, a chord there, or whatever,
Right.
And that's pretty much how how we do it. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not done that way because everybody does it. You know, you hear something that inspires you,
Right.
and you tweak it. I mean, that's the way this type of music, you know, jazz is done. You know.
You was your wife? She's sitting off camera.
Yeah, my wife.
But she got a project, or what is the thing you was telling me about?
She's got a project that she's working on. Let me see if I can get this right. Compañeros. But I'm not a Spanish speaker.
You can shout it out in the background.
But my wife, she speaks Spanish, and she's got this thing that she's doing that, you know, that's bringing a community together, giving people skills that they didn't have, and to help them more effective in the workplace. So if she would come on and talk about it, that'd be great. Come.
How are you?
Good seeing you again. Long time.
See you too.
So tell us about the project. First, let me say who it is. It's Daia Baker. I'm pronouncing that right now. Because sometimes I'm notorious for jacking up people's names. I do that. And for some of you who are sitting out there like, yeah, when I was on this show, it took me about 5 times to get my name right. Sorry, I apologize. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about...
Okay, so it's called Compañeros, and that means companion, friend, or buddy in Spanish.
Okay.
And what we're doing is, I work at a hospital.
Okay.
And I'm finding that there's a barrier to serving the Hispanic population because you can't speak the language.
Okay.
And so I had a few nurses ask me, could I teach Spanish classes? And I already do that. Okay. But taking it on a larger scale and offering it to the community. So we have our first lesson starting September the 3rd from 5:30 to 6:30. And it's going to be at People's Church, which is at 220 William Howard Taft Road. And I'm looking forward to kind of bringing the community together and taking down that barrier so that... Yeah. I
mean, because we have a community now that's very mixed with Hispanics, people coming to the country, because we have a great country. Who don't want to be in America?
Right.
I love it here. I can't speak no other language. I struggle with the language that I'm speaking now. But, so how did you come up with this? Was it just noticing the influx of the different people that's come to the country and the struggles that they're having with trying to communicate and working with people in the hospital trying to communicate with them? So it was kind of one of those aha moments where it's like, I could come up with something that make this...
Well, I mean, I've been a translator before, and like I said, I teach Spanish classes. I teach high school Spanish right now. But it was something very simple. I was sitting at my desk and I asked the question, you know, and it was around how could I make more money? And within 3 minutes of me asking that question, I had at least 3 nurses ask me if I could teach them Spanish.
Wow.
And so I felt like, okay, this is something that I'm supposed to do. And not just them that want to learn, but other people. I've had countless people ask me to teach them Spanish. So.
Okay. It's, you know, see, I've always wanted to try to, I tried to speak French for a while. It didn't work. I just remember Bonjour Michel. That's about the far as I got. It would be great to speak Spanish because I run into a lot of people that, you know, speak Spanish and I can't.
Right.
So say something to a Spanish-speaking audience that's looking in on the Basement Show After Dark, who you might want to address something to them.
Hola mis amigos, yo soy Daia Baker y estoy muy contenta por esta oportunidad. Gracias.
So how's this going? Is everything...
Well, we're just getting started.
Okay.
What I hope will happen is that it'll take some of the apprehension out of serving the Hispanic population. If you can at least say a few things to someone, then it makes you more at ease and it makes them more at ease with whatever service you're trying to provide for them, especially in the hospital setting. It's really important. There's precious moments that can be lost in a situation if you can't communicate with that person. Yeah. And so we have translators that are hired. We have phones that you can call translators on, but there's nothing like being able to break that barrier yourself and say, hi, my name is such and such, or how can I help you, or what's bothering you. So I'm hoping to equip the healthcare population with these tools to be able to get started with their job sooner and to be more comfortable serving this particular population.
Is there like a website, Facebook page somewhere they can go and if they want to find
Yes.
out more?
Yes. You can find me on Facebook. It's Daia Baker, and I have a page for the company on there.
Okay.
And then also, if they want to email me, the email address is compañeras1.0@gmail.com, and you spell that COMPANERAS.
Well, there you go. There's probably people out there that's like dying to learn how to expand their vocabulary into another language, and look her up. Thank you for coming on. I want to switch you out and get your hubby back in here, but I'm
on the image of family.
Right.
Whatever I'm doing, my family's involved in it.
See, that's beautiful.
I'm figuring out how can whatever we do it together. So that's the model that we show throughout America. Should I ever get where I'm, larger in a limelight, that's what they're gonna see. They're not gonna see me by myself. They're gonna see, because that's what I want to try to portray, and that's the solution that I have even in my music. My kids, I have 6 kids. 4 of my kids play instruments and they sing, and it's not like we made them do it or whatever, but they were immersed in that because that's what I was doing all the time, and that's what we heard. And once my wife found out that there was an interest for it, she cleared out our living room, took all the furniture out, and replaced it with instruments. And they gradually got to them and started playing and learning themselves. They taught themselves. I haven't taught any of my kids anything. I taught one of my sons a scale, but they get on YouTube and they learn how to play the piano. I have a son that plays classical piano. He plays guitar, and they taught themselves. And I think that what we're trying to show is the solution that they don't have to be on the street. And you may not know exactly what their desires and what they want to do with their lives, but you can kind of help them along in a direction. And you got to know your children first of all. You got to be able to see what's going on with them. Be like, yeah, they seem like they're interested in that, and then surround them with that. So that's one of the lead me into the next thing I wanted to mention to you is something that we're doing called Zion Noise. And it's a new media group that we're coming about, and the focus is 21 and younger, people with creative talents, whether they're musicians, whether they're artists, whether they're actors, whether they're singers or whatever, and those talents, and being able to have someone to bring them along and show them, kind of like a on-the-job training type of thing. We're not professing to be professors in this or that, but kids learn mainly by what they see, not by what you're telling them or what you're saying to them. So if we could show them that, hey, there's a side of you that's creative, and we can pull them off the corner. If 1 or 2 come off the corner, then this is what we want to do.
Because sometimes,
and that's what the fad is. Or if I can use that word, I'm old, so if that just seems to be the trend of how things are going and what they see. The media is flooded with that. But you don't see the media flooded with 15, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds who have a passion for the violin. You know what I'm saying? They're out there, but we don't see that. We
only pictures on your Facebook page with your kids playing the guitar, and I'm like, wow, they're young and they playing instruments and stuff. They're not sitting there, with I don't know.
They got something else on their mind, they can find out something about themselves that they didn't know before. You
don't have music in the school no more. Home ec, that was gone a long time ago. I guess we still got the boys club, girls, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's just something that has to be done where we can kind of reach these kids before they reach that point where there's no turning back.
Yeah, we gotta see the value in them, man. You always hear it's like a cliche. You are the kids of today or are tomorrow.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary because
Ray running the world. Oh my God.
Right. For what you see, it's a lawless situation happening, but somebody's got to decide they're gonna take the reins, and pull them back in, And so that's what we're trying to do.
We're trying, people. We're trying to help in our own way. He's trying to do his thing. I'm trying to do my thing. Yeah. We need to pray more. So where can they find you? How do they find you on Facebook?
You can find me on Facebook. You can do Facebook.com/Philip Baker. or Philip Maurice, which is what I'm going by now. I changed my show name, so to speak. So you can find me at Philip Maurice. You can find me on iTunes. You can find me on CD Baby. But if you go to Facebook, I have a band page on there. It'll link you to those places. You can buy the product at a place called ReverbNation.com. And there again, that link is on my page on Facebook, so you can find me that way. Or you can email me. You know, my email is lifemusicgroup at hotmail.com. And you can get in touch with me that way, man. I'm excited about where things are going, man. This is a great opportunity for me. I appreciate you making that available to me.
Man, you know, I'm all about talking with people local, because some of them that's local, they think they national. I didn't mean to go back there, but I had to.
Yeah. But, I ain't national. I'm local though.
But this whole thing for me is just like, I love the opportunity to meet different people here in the city.
Yeah.
People that's doing, it's not always got to be like music or comedians or actors, just folks that's doing stuff here that's trying to make a difference, doing something positive. I love just sitting across the table and just talking about them, because I learn stuff from them. I hope they're learning something from me.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But I just, it's just a good thing to be able to do something and to create a format that allow people to see how much talent is in Cincinnati. I mean, we got, man, it is like
Rich.
this rich. I mean, it's
Very
like a gold mine,
Yeah.
diamond mine of talent here in Cincinnati, and I'm just always amazed and grateful to have great talent to sit across from. So I'm glad to have you on the show. And when we get ready to do a movie again,
Yeah.
we might have to do an OTR too. Bring back Fats.
Hit me up.
No, Fats got killed though, didn't he?
Yeah, he got killed.
Ah.
I
The
know
son of
you can
Fats.
find
Maybe
another.
Fats'
Yeah,
twin
you
brother
find
that y'all
another-
didn't. Yeah, you see
Found
that?
another role for me.
Right, Fats' twin brother that
Yeah.
come back to town because he found out his brother got killed.
That'll
He
work
about-
right there.
You see that? See?
Twin.
You know,
Yeah.
You ever know? Might do it. OTR again. Have that big screen again, red carpet, all that.
Yeah.
Because I got to do that again, because I got some people
Yeah.
telling me like, oh, that was just a fluke, man. You couldn't pull that off twice.
That
Nah,
was
I can
awesome.
pull it off twice.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Check us out on YouTube. I'm at Rosemary Basement on Twitter. Follow me there. Follow me on Facebook. Tune in the next time. Basement Show After Dark. Sometimes we film it in the daytime, but we like to call it After Dark.
Yeah.
See you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace.
Cool.